listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The Ecosystem Approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. Today, we're going to talk about what you can do for growth and development in this new year. With the onslaught of artificial intelligence, how do you keep yourself relevant before you're replaced? Well, that's a really good question. The experts are saying that soft skills and a more human touch becomes even more important in this world that is increasingly automated. We also want to know how it's going to be for us in the coming year. Good, bad, positive, negative. We'll talk about how to have perspective. We are married intuitives with over 25 years experience who created the Ecosystem Approach. This is a groundbreaking way to see yourself in this age of Aquarius. We help you unleash healing and potential that is unknown today and is totally unique to you personally. This is not your typical type of energy work. Rather, we help you with life-changing internal discovery that is powerful, rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. Jason, something just changed. Shouldn't we talk about that first?
Well, we used to say, yes, something did change.
Okay.
We used to say we have over 20 years experience. Well, now since 25, it was just, it's just 1 year later, but the truth is that we've been rounding down. We started roughly in the year 2000.
Actually, a little bit before, but
Yeah.
yes.
So we're going to go with 25. We'll probably do that for 3 or 4 longer for that,
Yeah, stick with us and figure out how long it takes us.
And it's just because we don't like to, there's so much exaggeration and overblown and thing today. We're going to be going live with our subscription service soon, and we're going to charge $20 a month. We're not going to charge $19.95.
Okay.
We're going to charge $20 a month.
All right. All right.
And we just feel it's more honest with you, and that's kind of relationship we want to have going forward. Also, we changed our we're married intuitives. That spiel was just a little bit different, which I think is a little nicer.
Yeah. Okay.
So stay tuned. We're going to try and find new ways to approach this really interesting topic. So,
and by the way, I think what we do is really interesting.
I think so too.
Yes.
One other thing, this is Martin Luther King Day.
Okay.
And in the third segment, wait for it, I'm going to tell you what my my favorite quote of his I Have a Dream speech and how that's relevant to what we're going to be talking about in the third segment.
Oh, you did change a few things,
I
didn't
did.
you? Okay.
He called me and said, "What are you doing?" Well,
I'm changing things, is what he said. Okay, I'm not going to argue with you. So, all right. So let's talk about growth and development for 2024. Okay, in the age of artificial intelligence.
It's a biggie.
Okay. And by the way, why is artificial intelligence, if I could get it out, an important part of the way people grow and develop this year? What is that?
Well, if you have to understand that artificial intelligence now is going to be able to do better than humans
with certain things.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm going to explain.
Okay.
It can memorize facts.
Okay. Something I can't do very well.
It can
okay.
retrieve facts.
Okay. Same thing.
And it can follow protocols. You hear about the algorithm and YouTube and
sure.
Facebook and Instagram and all those things. It's an algorithm is an artificial intelligence method,
not measurement.
It's a software. Artificial intelligence is software.
Okay.
And so a lot of jobs that you think were you had to have some sort of human interaction.
Okay.
Pretty soon there won't be the need for that in the same way that it was.
I see.
You know,
Okay.
for example, they've already automated insurance. Go online, you answer a few questions, and they give you a quote, and
Okay.
it's
And then it becomes an algorithm for the information you gave them, correct?
yes,
I
yes.
see. Okay.
So
Okay.
so so what does that mean for you? Well, if
Mm.
you're thinking about 2024, and what do I do?
Hmm.
What should I be doing to make myself more relevant in the marketplace, that sort of thing?
Okay.
What everybody's saying, and this is just kind of obvious in a
Hmm.
way, but it's really important, is that um, machines are going to replace a lot of what we would do otherwise in terms of memorizing facts and following protocols.
Okay.
But what machines can't do are the soft skills. And those are the skills that employers are going to be looking for. And that's going to make you the most valuable in the marketplace going forward.
I see.
Not only is it important in the work world,
Sure.
soft skills, I would venture to say that soft skills are probably the most important in a marriage.
Okay.
You know, um, um, when we talk to each other, if it's just the facts, ma'am, we do a
I don't
lot.
understand.
We do a lot of that interaction,
We do.
but it's the soft skills that create the elegance of our relationship.
Yes.
It's the empathy, it's the
Hmm.
listening, it's the connection, it's the
And it's even the compassion
yes.
that might be needed in a moment or for a given subject.
And it might even be nonverbal.
True.
We
True.
sense each other all the time in terms of
Yes.
what's going on and
Yes,
all
we
that
do.
stuff.
That's true.
So,
That's true. And by the way, it's one of my favorite things about our relationship. Some people would say, oh, that's because you've been together for over 25 years. Well, on one hand, that could be true. But on the other hand, because of our intelligence, and I'm talking about our emotional intelligence, to start with that, we have an innate understanding of things about each other that are remarkable, that no other partner that you have had or I have
yeah.
had has ever been able to, I want to say, master or have an understanding about.
We talk about love, and February is going to be the love month.
Yes.
I'll have to think about what we're going to do for that. But
Okay.
it's Valentine's Day in a way is kind of trite, but a lot of times we talk about building a deeper and deeper relationship with your spouse, your significant other.
Correct.
And how do you do that? Well,
Yeah.
those are done with soft skills. So let me talk about some soft skills.
Okay.
Active listening, not just being quiet.
Hmm.
I remember, okay, I got a ex-wife joke. It's not an ex-wife joke, it's an ex-wife.
I'm not the ex-wife.
Yeah, ex-wife
Okay.
atrocity.
Okay.
How's that? Atrocity. I like
Okay.
that. So
Okay, here we go.
we went to this active listening class.
You and the ex-wife.
Yes.
Okay.
And they what they do, and this is why the ecosystem approach is so important, because what they did in this class is they say, well, what you should do is wait and let the other person finish,
whatever they're saying,
and then reflect back to them what they said.
Okay.
I hear you, and blah, you said
I
blah,
hear
blah,
you
blah.
because this, and this.
Yeah, I hear you say, and you said this, and this.
Okay.
And I remember toward the end, we were having this big argument, and she yelled at me. So, I mean, not that it wasn't that she yelled at me. I mean, I was in the army. Yelling is no big deal. But it was like, I said, "You're not listening to me," and she yelled back, "I am too listening to you." But she was just acting like she was saying the words, but she was not listening at
At
all.
all. Yes.
And obviously the reason we got divorced was, she couldn't. Not only was she not listening, but she couldn't understand my perspective.
Oh.
And that talk about active listening. They're talking about soft skills, empathy, being self-aware, nonverbal communication, collaboration,
Mhm.
all those things kind of fit together.
Kind of like a little bit of a puzzle, but yet they still fit.
Yes.
Yes.
And
When it's done with an understanding.
yes. And when you have that, first of all, with yourself,
Yeah,
see, that's what everybody misses. You know, you have to know, you have to be self-aware enough to know your perspective.
correct.
So if you're trying to be empathetic with someone else, a lot of times is you haven't done a lot of your own work, which is where you
Or
start with the ecosystem approach,
exactly.
is to go inside and say, okay, what is this about me?
Right.
That's where it all comes from, and
Right.
that's when you can be empathetic with another person.
Ah,
And
sure,
and
sure, sure.
robots, machines, artificial intelligence will never be able to do that.
Because you can't put in every single into data. You can't put in every single thing that you might need empathy for or object to,
Even if you could,
even
which
if you could,
I
okay.
think you're right, you can't. But even if you could, it would be coming from a robot. I mean,
Yeah.
a robot, you can't hug a robot at
Well,
the end of the
and
night.
I'm telling my age here, but I think of the Jetsons and Rosie. Rosie, the robot, she was amazing, and she did all these great things, but Rosie couldn't cry, and Rosie couldn't love unless the authors of the show
Yeah,
that
yeah,
day
yeah.
they drew hearts around her type thing, meaning, oh, she loved this, or she, that sort of thing. And it's kind of the truth today.
Well, and even the most critical thinking, the
Hmm.
most highest level of thinking in terms of being a genius
Correct.
comes from it's a we call it an energy process. It's
Hmm.
developing refined intuition. We've talked about this. Refined
Correct.
intuition,
Yeah,
evolved consciousness. Oh my gosh, it's big.
it is. So, Jason, what what is the quick tip for this segment?
Self-improvement in the age of artificial intelligence is changing, and the common improvements don't work and won't be effective for this new age.
Mm,
This requires greater soft skills and the ability to connect with other people via communication, listening, empathy, and all manner of social skills.
mm.
These skills and abilities do not happen with normal learning and the skill development techniques. Soft skills come from a subtle energy approach where most training today is helps people know what these skills are, but does not help them change their behavior.
Yeah, true.
My ex-wife didn't want to listen to me no matter what. You can't take a class to overcome that, you know? And so to truly implement those behaviors with their interactions with other people, it requires a real integration of those soft skills.
Okay.
Empathy and self-awareness comes from working with energy within yourself that expands intuition and other soft skills and abilities.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about how to have a perspective in the coming year in a way that is really useful for you. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about how to have a perspective in the coming year in a way that is really useful for you. Jason, how does a person have perspective on the coming year? Hold on. And aren't we supposed to be, and we are not supposed to be, we are intuitives. Aren't we supposed to tell people what that perspective is supposed to be?
You know, it, Many people go to a psychic,
Yes.
say, okay, what should I know about this coming year? Or am I going to get married in the coming year? Am I going to get this new job?
Or am I going to find the love of my life?
Yes, all that stuff.
Yes.
And
Big
we've
one.
said this before. We never predict the future.
Mm-mm.
It's not that we can't see some of those things.
Sure.
You can when you have intuition that's highly developed as what we do, we can see trends for people,
Right.
and we can make pretty good predictions about what's going to happen.
Sure.
But that's not what we do.
Mm.
Our job is to try and help you understand how you work and understand the energy around you.
And the energy in which you do things with.
Yes, and so that you can make um, um, have the year that you want.
Correct.
You know, if someone came to us and said, you know, am I going to get married, or is this guy going to be the one for me? I would say, I don't know. You know, don't you know?
Yeah.
Why are you asking us?
Right.
You know,
Right. Right. Right.
and of course, I'd probably be a little less attitude with it, but
I
you know,
guarantee you would, because that's how you do things.
but
That would have been my attitude. Sorry.
I don't know. You know, if you know yourself and and then you can see that other person.
Correct.
Usually, when you start to know yourself, that's when you start to see other people more clearly. And when
True.
you don't know yourself, you have a hard time seeing other people.
That is absolutely correct.
There's so many, I see this in these news feeds all the time. 12 things you know, if your partner does this, it means this. You know,
Right. Or
first of all, no, that doesn't mean that.
because the 12 things that they're talking about in just that one, there are so many variables because there's so many different
Yes.
energies that
Yes.
we all have access to.
Right. And sometimes people are evolving,
And sometimes
they're devolving, they're just crashing and burning,
yes,
you know.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's not just enough to know what they're doing. It's
Mhm.
enough to so are they taking that and making is it part of the growth process, or is it part of their disintegration process? You know,
Well, you know what? I'm going to jump in and basically say I was taught that um, if you went to a psychic, let me just and ask the question, how is my am I going to get married this year?
yeah.
That whatever that person said, it was a form of gospel. It was the absolute. And one of the things you and I know is that we have the ability to choose,
Yes.
make choices for ourselves, not only in our best interest, but also with using the ecosystem approach, remove negative energies that are standing in our way, that are keeping us from the clarity that we really are looking for.
You know, the one psychic that I went to that told me originally that I had this ability, that kind of said, "Oh, huh, I never thought of it that way." She laid it out, and she was very um, eloquent about it.
Okay.
You know, um, I remember I was doing this with my boss at the time, and we went back there a couple more times, and she would make a lot of predictions that never came true.
Okay.
You know, um, um, and I know that she could see. I know that she had the ability to use intuition, but you know, it's part of the market. If you go to a quote unquote psychic and say, "Tell me what's going to happen," they're gonna, you know, you're paying them. They're gonna tell you what's going to happen,
Yes.
even if it's a guess, or you know,
Yes.
blah blah blah. We want to help people create their own life,
Exactly.
in a way that let them be directed by their essence,
Mhm.
and let that their essence guide them in a way that's authentic and natural to who they are.
So, in that, having an understanding of who they are and what they want or what makes them happy, remove the things that are standing in their way, meaning energies that are standing in their way that are keeping them from being happy. And that, by the way, can take a lifetime.
It can. And so here's the thing, most people don't have a perspective on their own life,
No, they don't.
whether it's 2024 or any other year,
Correct.
because they've been programmed like a machine.
Right.
They think in terms of goals and objectives,
Right.
and they don't understand themselves well enough to see if those goals are appropriate or right for themselves.
Correct.
You know, a good example.
Okay.
I think this is a great example.
Okay.
The only job that I was ever fired from in my work career was this job that had a psychologist. They had a psychologist consulting with them.
Okay.
And he would screen new hires. And his job was to determine whether the person that they wanted to hire was a good fit.
Okay.
And I was a good fit. And I was hired. He never asked me the most important question, which now that I think about it, was the reason, was the really the fundamental reason I got fired, is because I hated that job. I hated that work, you know. And at the time, it was a promotion for me. You know, my daughter was just little. I needed, we needed the money,
Sure.
it was like, of course,
Sure, I'll take it.
sure, I'll take it,
Yeah.
but it was completely the wrong job for me. It just was not suited to me. I was bored. I was,
And by the way, the one thing you don't want Jason to be is bored.
I don't remember as long as we've been doing the ecosystem approach that I've ever been bored, because I know who I am,
I
where I'm
agree.
going, what I want, and it's
And
every
how
day.
valuable what we do is.
The biggest problem I have is, in the middle of the night, I said, Patricia, what about, have you heard the one? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, he's not kidding.
We talk about these things all the time, but
we do. And one of the best things that I like that here's one of my favorite things about exactly that. An idea will be thrown out for, it doesn't matter who said it, and we'll both go, well, I'll think about that. And that's the middle of the night thing. Hey, I figured it out. We should see it from this perspective. We should see it from, but how do we get rid of this? How do we take care of that? Those kind of things. And first off, our relationship is not dull, not in any way, shape, or form, and neither are our lives. But the point that I'm getting at is that because you and I have used the ecosystem approach and learned so many things about ourselves, it's been phenomenal.
Well, and the whole purpose of this segment was,
Yes.
okay, how do you have perspective on yourself? And simply put, it's self-knowledge.
It is.
How do you get self-knowledge?
Exactly.
Applying the ecosystem approach, going inward, seeing who you are authentically. All those goals and objectives are stupid unless you know who you are and whether they suit you.
Well, and if any of us could go back even 10 years and see ask the same question we would ask today, or a question we would ask today, our perspective would be different, because the energies that we were either seeing, feeling, or knowing that information from is not the same as it is today.
Yes.
Because we change. All of us change.
All of us change, but most of us, because we've been programmed, don't change in a way that's more authentic to us. We change in a way that we are able to cope with the world in a way that's easier for us, but not necessarily with more insight.
And not to mention the energy of fear.
So if you take your emotional story,
okay,
and look inside yourself and say, how can I improve, heal, make those parts of myself better that cause pain, hurt, and comfort and discomfort for the coming year? I mean, I'm kind of giving it to you, but oh my gosh, if that's the most important thing you can do every year.
Exactly.
But especially now, especially when you think about what should I do, maybe it's not that diet. Maybe it's not losing that 10 pounds that's important. Maybe it's to say, okay, who am I? And once I know who I am, then my body will respond to me.
Well, and I'm going to step on the other side of that and say, maybe it is that diet. Let's back that up for just a minute. And why can't me and my body, if I eat this, and this, why can't my body lose weight like the guy next to me?
Well, and
that kind of thing. And the answer is energy.
Well, it is that's too superficial.
Of course it is.
I guess
but that's a question people always ask.
If you're trying to apply some sort of weight loss program, the truth is, if you have to know why you're doing it.
Yes, you do.
If you know who you are, then that why is much more clear.
Yes.
If it's to fit into that dress for that best friend's wedding, it's probably not a good why.
It's probably not.
And chances are you're gonna at the first sign of a cupcake, you're gonna be a goner.
Yeah. Yes, I will agree with you.
If it's this idea that you'll feel better about yourself, that's not true either. Know who you are. And once you start to know who you are, that's when you can start to feel better about yourself.
That's correct.
Because it's you.
And it makes it easier to lose weight when you know more about yourself and feel better about yourself.
Exactly.
So, Jason, what is a quick tip of this segment?
Most people for the new year focus on goals and skill development, but those things often come from years of treating themselves like machines or robots. So those goals often fail or don't work out.
Correct.
The most important thing you can do after years of programming and robot training is to go inward using the ecosystem approach. Perspective on your life only comes from the self-insight that comes from your emotional story and understanding where you are in that process.
Okay.
The best achievement you can have for this year is to move forward, healing the pain of your emotional story so that you can overcome it and rise above it. As you heal your emotional story, it will help all the areas of your life, your job, your money, your relationships, your health. You don't need goals for these areas because the root is your emotional story. And then your essence will take over and guide you.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about using astrology appropriately and effectively to get an idea about this next year for you personally. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about using astrology appropriately and effectively to get an idea about this next year for you personally. Okay, Jason, how do you use the astrology appropriately for this coming year? And is there something specific that could help our listeners for the year?
It's, again, we don't predict the future,
Right?
but astrology can help you with trends. And maybe this year is to get another degree. Maybe this year is to look for another job, or maybe it's not. Those are kind of things that you can, it's not an absolute. If you ever use astrology and make it a rule that says, oh, my chart says this and I should never do this, then, I think that's an inappropriate use of astrology.
Okay.
I've heard people who won't sign contracts when Mercury is in retrograde.
Right.
I
I've
think
heard that
that's
too.
silly. All you do is clear your way so that when Mercury is in retrograde, what that means is that details can get lost. So you just clear so the details don't get lost.
There you go.
It's to me, it's that simple.
And that you understand them.
But we talked about today's Martin Luther King Day. And
yes,
I think this relates to what we're going to talk about right now, which is the most famous the famous quote. This is from a speech that has stuck with me that I love, and
the famous speech of "I Have a Dream."
I have a dream.
Okay.
Yes, and this is one line in the almost at the end where it says, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character." And oh, by the way, we've been talking about the age of Aquarius. That is such an age of Aquarius thing to say.
Correct.
In today's world where we're talking about prejudice and LGBTQ freedoms and rights and all those things, this is the time when it's not about those labels. It's about the content of your character. And that's my hope for the age of Aquarius, that as you use the ecosystem approach, you not only see your own character, but then you can see more clearly other people's.
Well, and people really don't understand that their character comes from within.
Yes.
It's not something that they try and act like they're wearing it on their sleeve, of course, but that's not an authentic use of their own personal character.
Well, when you think about it, you can say, I'm not a prejudiced person. That's usually a programming. So
that is correct.
If you believe that about yourself, then you don't really know.
Yes.
It's when you go inward and you say, oh, I have these preconceived notions about this and this and this.
Correct.
And then you see yourself more clearly. Then you can be more empathetic, soft skills, toward other people who may want to be a certain way but aren't able to for whatever reason. And that's what we've been talking about for each other lately, is that we're trying to overcome the programming of our childhood.
Yes, we are.
And if that programming included certain beliefs about certain classes of groups or people,
Mhm.
then it can be very problematic.
Right.
So what can you do?
Okay, that's a good question.
One of the things we're going to talk about right now is, and this is just one piece of astrology, just to kind of whet your appetite, because it's
Okay.
not all inclusive. We are not astrologers. It's not meant to be um, um,
Set in stone.
set in stone. Don't make a rule out of it.
Okay.
But one of the planets that is affected this year is Pluto.
Okay.
Pluto takes a long time to revolve around
The sun.
the sun. I think it's 244 years. I
Something
could
like
be
that.
wrong about that.
It's
Yeah.
close. Yeah.
And one of the important aspects of Pluto is that because it moves so slow, it affects generations. So it's not just that my Pluto is in a certain place. The truth is that when Pluto moves through the signs, it affects everybody in a certain way.
Okay.
Okay. And right now, Pluto is in Capricorn until
The end of the month, right?
yeah, March 23rd.
Okay. Oh, excuse me, 2 months. Yes.
I'm misreading that because that's 23. It's it's right now it's Pluto is in Capricorn until the 21st of this month.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And then it moves to Aquarius.
Mm.
So, oh my gosh, being Pluto is a, a a planet of transformation and power.
Okay.
So that's how you're exercising your power. And in Capricorn, it's to maintain the status quo.
Correct.
This is the way it's always been. This is the way it's supposed to be. These are the rules, follow the rules.
Okay.
You know, all those things. When it goes into Aquarius, it's about more freedom, more democracy,
Okay.
more fairness regarding other people, especially as it regard Martin Luther King.
Well, and I love that. And explain to everyone the last time that Pluto was
It's not that from an astrology standpoint, it's not that clean, but
it's a good idea though.
Yeah,
It
it is.
really it kind of makes you go, oh, I get it.
When the Constitution of the United States was written, it says "We the people." It was a beautiful poetic document that says we believe these truths are self-evident.
That's
That all
correct.
men are created equal.
Yeah,
You know,
notice they
that
didn't
is
put women in there, but go ahead.
that is such a thank you for those little comments.
Sorry.
um, it was such an age of Aquarian type of viewpoint.
And truly, and by the way, my comment about the women thing was more anyway. The bottom line is that I do believe we the people.
Yes.
I do believe in forms of freedom with understanding of how those different forms of freedom affect. Because if I have the emotional intelligence that I really want, I will be able to see how my thinking will affect others.
That's part of the soft skills again, you know. But what we're trying to talk about in this segment, we can go off on a lot of different
We
tangents,
could, I know.
you know, is about how Pluto is going to affect you for this coming year.
Correct.
And it's going to affect a lot of other people in terms of being more democratic and looking at things in a different way. That's
Okay.
very Aquarian.
Yes.
You know, having a viewpoint that is just really kind of uncommon, you
Okay.
know, and we've been moving in that direction, you
For a
know.
long time.
Aquarian is a lot of rebellion. So some astrologers have been predicting gloom and doom, which I don't know, you know, it's not necessarily gloom and doom. It's not all going to be rainbows and unicorns either when it switches, but it's creates the potential for that, and that's what's important.
Okay. And if you have an understanding of who you are, then you can choose
Yes.
how you are going to be able to either deal with doom and gloom or rainbows and unicorns.
Yes.
And by the way, I don't believe in rainbows and unicorns, but I do want to say that because we have the ability to choose and take that moment, take a breath and choose how you want to either act or react to something that's going on around you.
Yes.
That's my point right there.
You know, so it's time for those for you to say, okay, I'm going to have this power to be for transformation,
Yes,
for to be more democratic, to be to think differently about my life.
correct.
That's all. When Pluto goes into Aquarius, you're going to have that potential. How you use it is up to you.
And I call that doing a 360 walkabout for yourself
Yes.
and who you are.
Well, you like to put it that way. That makes a lot of sense. It gives you more perspective. Capricorn is not something that expands your perspective. It focuses you on the rules, what you're supposed to do. This is the way it's
Correct.
always been done, that sort of thing.
And yet you can clear your fear. One of the things that the ecosystem approach gives you is you can clear your fear so you can see, even if Pluto is in Capricorn, you can see a 360 view better than if you didn't.
You can have that perspective
That
because
is correct.
it goes back to Capricorn in
Yes,
in
it does.
September,
Yes, it
just
does.
for a short period, then it comes back to
Right.
Aquarius again.
Okay.
So
I really, really love that part. Jason, what is the quick tip about this segment?
one of the best uses of astrology is to have perspective on influences in the world that happen from the outer planets. Pluto is one of those.
Right.
These planets affect everyone in major ways, as well as large groups of people like governments, countries, major structures, and collective thought. We are talking about Pluto and how it can equate, how it can create an influence over your life. It's hard to know exactly how it affects you in 2024, but it will be moving into Aquarius and create an energy for major changes, new democratic ideals, increased use of technology, pressure to overcome inequality and injustice. How will it affect you? Go back to your emotional story and see how it could be used to focus your intent and activities for this year.
I love that. Absolutely. Real fast, Jason, we didn't tell everyone how to do the clearing, which is removing negative energy.
So it's basically a process of your imagination.
That's correct.
When we say and to eliminate, in your imagination, in your mind's eye, gather up what we say to eliminate, veils and illusions, barriers, or specific emotions.
Correct.
Gather those up, blow them into the processor. Sierra's putting a picture of the processor up right now. Blow them into the top there. You get the process, it comes out neutral. It's really that simple. You can do it in any posture. You can be doing something else while you're doing clearing.
Exactly.
We do all the time.
And let's have fun with it.
Yes.
What do you say? All right. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to help you to start thinking about how you're going to improve your expectations and plan for this new year, as well as start to develop some soft skills in your life. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to help you start thinking about how you're going to improve your expectations and plans for this new year, as well as start to develop some soft skills in your life. Jason, take it away.
Here we go. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that your emotional story is the key to seeing where you are in 2024 and what needs to be done for your growth and development.
Nice and easy. The veils and illusions, let's get rid of them and throw that negative energy into the processor. Make sure you put it into the processor, because the last thing you want to do is do this work and then get up and walk back into it. Put it in the processor where it belongs. It can't hurt you there. With that said, and to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see most soft skills don't come from logic, but from instincts, which comes from our essence, which is an energy process. Nice and easy, veils and illusions, and throw all that negative energy away.
And to eliminate the stress and anxiety and overwhelm that I have that comes from my emotional story, that can be cleared.
I love that. Nice and easy. Take a breath and blow it out. And to eliminate the veils and illusions, so I can see that the root of all soft skills is having self-awareness and knowing your emotional story. Take a breath and blow out any negative energies.
And to eliminate the compulsion to have goals and objectives before self-awareness and soft skills.
Take a breath. And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that using the ecosystem approach is the way to uncover who I am, have self-awareness, and truly develop my soft skills. Take a breath, nice and easy.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that goals and objective only make sense after self-awareness.
Yes, take a breath. Well, and I need to say this. It was really great for me because after I started removing the veils and illusions and all the negative energies around what I really wanted to do, it made it clearer for me to see the direction for me to get up and go get what I wanted.
Yeah.
Nice and easy. So with that said,
how to do it, what direction to go in,
yeah,
how to do it in a way that suits you the best.
and that was a self-awareness
Yes.
that came up as soon as I started removing negative energy.
And it's true power.
It really is. It's like, oh my gosh. So with that said, and to eliminate the intense feelings of worry, anxiety, and stress that I have because of bad goals that lack what? Self-awareness. Take a breath and throw away those bad goals. You don't need them. You can get better ones, better, clearer ones.
Yes.
English was horrible. Sorry. Okay.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that Pluto in Aquarius could offer major possibilities for change.
Positive change, by the way.
Yes.
Take a breath. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that Pluto is a slow-moving planet that rules major transformation. It's better to do things slow when you're doing major transformation so you can get all the details. Take a breath and blow out any negative energies.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that my emotional story is ready for major transformation this year.
This year, yes. Take a breath. By the way, and have fun with it. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that perspective on my life comes naturally from authentic self-awareness. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that in the age of artificial intelligence, soft skills and being authentically human is the only way to overcome the strengths of artificial intelligence.
I love it. Take a breath. Now we're going to add back in some things that are really, really, really important. So follow along. We're going to activate life force energy. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force energy so I can use life force energy and have clarity about this life force energy for me personally. I'm going to pull that in through the top of my head. I'm going to let it go all the way down to the tips of my toes. I'm going to stop it right there. I'm going to ask it to turn around and pick up any negative energies that are hanging around because we know there's so many of them. Nice and easy. Blow out any negative energies. Jason?
And to activate life force so I can hope to have self-insight as my true perspective on my life.
I love it. Pull it in. And we're looking for true self-perspective and insight. Blow out any negative energies. We're going to shorten it up and activate life force so I can trust that my goals and objectives are not as important as self-insight, which always comes first. Pull it in and blow out any negative energies. Jason?
And to activate life force so I can decide to use astrology as perspective, not to rule or govern my life.
Pull it in and blow it in. And last one, and activate life force so I can be happy and healthy and have fun and have laughter and joy, be creative. And of course, the big one, be objective about who I am, what it is I want, and be able to do what I came here to do, such as be a healer or be kind to someone today, or Love myself as I've never loved before. Pull all that in and blow out any negative energy. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
True confidence.
Hmm.
And this is a perspective you've never heard before.
Okay.
Most people think other people just naturally have confidence.
Yeah,
But
they
what
do.
we see is that most confidence comes from your Enneagram type, which is
Yes.
compulsive. It's not true confidence,
Mhm.
and it shouldn't be there. In
Right.
other words, it's not that the person shouldn't be confident. It's just that that confidence that they display
Mhm.
is not authentic to them.
Right.
And so the best way, we're going to talk about the best way to develop confidence, but what we're taught today is using some sort of form of force manipulation or weird ways to make you feel more confident.
Okay.
We've been watching a YouTube video with my mom, and one of the things that they say there, they do these adventures as a family,
Mhm.
and they say when you test yourself and then come out and see that you can overcome these challenges, it gives you more confidence. Well, does it? We're going to talk about that next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Does that really happen?
Yeah. Okay.
So if today touched you some way, you said, "Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
I need to be more self-aware before I start doing my goals. I need to go inward and know who I am so that I can make the right goals in the right way."
Okay.
Um,
I like that.
this is what you do. Connect with us.
Yeah.
The way to do that is go to our website right now, theecosystemapproach.org. It's all one word, theecosystemapproach.org. Sign up for our free section. You'll get a newsletter every week, which has the rules for the clearings.
Mhm.
Clearing is cumulative, so the more you do,
The better it is.
the better it is.
Mhm.
And so it's not something you just do one time.
Yeah.
This removing this negative energy is hopefully, we'll hope that you decide to do it for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Because that's what we see that creates the most huge transformation for you in a really positive way.
Mhm.
So if you listen to our show every week, the first thing, go to our website, sign up for the free section,
Correct.
do the clearings.
Mhm.
You're going to be on your way to something that's really amazing.
Yes.
And while you're at it, go to our website on Facebook.
There you go.
It's the address is theecosystemapproach.org. Go there, like us while you're there.
Mhm.
We have our videos posted there, and you can watch some older stuff there too.
Yes. And we're still funny there sometimes.
yeah.
All right. We'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Remember, your ecosystem is the most important one for the rest of 2024 and for the rest of your life.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.